Hour number 3 kicks off on the Rich Eisen Show with the new head coach of the Houston Texans, and it's been a while since we have chatted with him. Joining us on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is Lovie Smith. How are you, Coach?
That's good, Rich. How about you?
I am better for talking to you. I used to speak to you on Bears Cam all the time back in the day on NFL Total Access. We go way back in terms of those conversations.
Yeah, Rich, we're getting a little older, man. Time is moving on for sure.
I know. I've got a lot of gray in my beard. How about you, Lovie?
Yeah, I've been accused of having just a little bit of gray. No salt and pepper. It's definitely
my gosh,
kind of showing my age now.
I know. I'm. This is something I didn't think I'd start with. But how much maintenance goes into your beard, man? That's got to be a lot. Like what? Walk me through this process, Coach.
Well, it's not a big process. You go on vacation sometime. You don't shave a lot, and I had a period of time where I didn't have to, and my wife loved it. I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to keep this.
That's it.
And as simple as that.
That's it. Because I get sometimes when I see the commissioner of the NFL, he kind of makes fun of my beard, and I tell him my wife likes it, and that's when he backs off. That's when he's like, okay, I get it.
Same here. That's all you have to say is that.
That is it. That is it. So let's get into it. Coach, so what are you doing like right now? What does the head coach of the Houston Texans do the week before a combine, 2 weeks before the new league year begins? Walk me through what your day is other than talking to me.
Well, Rich, right after the press conference, it's about the staff, getting the staff together. Luckily, we're able to get the staff in place quickly. And now it's just, about the team, personnel. Evaluating, of course, our roster, free agency coming up, draft coming up. I've been to a few combines, so excited about getting back into the flow to kind of start the process of adding good players to the roster.
Okay, and is the quarterback that starts for the Houston Texans in 2021 currently on your roster? The 2022 currently on your roster? Lovie Smith.
Yes, of course, the first thing people want to know is how about the quarterback position? And I love what Davis Mills did last year. Rich, when you come in as a rookie like he did last year, and, you start off going against the number one defense, so got a chance to see a lot of him. And then when he moved up and started playing, like his demeanor, he can make all the throws. He's smart. So feel real good about Davis, leading our team. We just have to get better people around him. So
he's got a shot, if not the front runner for being the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans come September?
Rich, as you say it, we've known each other a while. You don't give out starting positions in the spring. But, as I say it, I love what Davis has done. He's our quarterback going into the season, like all guys. Hopefully – some of our best players that played last year, new coaching staff starting in, but, replacing our quarterback, there are a lot of positions I'm worried about. Quarterback is not one of them.
Do you reach out to David Shaw at all at any point in time to chat with him?
I haven't because I've been with him for a period of time now, but
right.
I know the background, and I know any quarterback coming from a system and being around David, I know what to expect as far as that's concerned. And so got a chance to see him. I like everything about him. And of course, I've had a chance to talk to him a couple more times since I was named the head coach here, and he cannot wait to get started. And I know his teammates love him too.
Lovie Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. Do you have any contact at all with Deshaun Watson? Lovie Smith.
I've had contact with, from just being in the building. I don't really know Deshaun that way, since he wasn't really involved last year. I know about his background and his history as a football player. That part I know. And, of course, I know most people want to know what's going to happen with that. Time takes care of a lot of things, and time will take care of that situation too, where it's a favorable situation for Deshaun and us.
And do you think, I know one of the favorite coaching cliches is you don't have a crystal ball, and you don't have one, But the new league year is a time that is right around the corner. Is that the time frame that you and the Texans are targeting at the very least in terms of resolution?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Coming in as a new head football coach, we want to put the best football team on the field. And, some of the things where there's a question mark on what's going to happen. And, I can't wait for all of that to get settled, and we can kind of move on from there.
Lovie Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. So walk me through the process of you being hired by the Texans and when you interviewed with them and when you thought like you really had a shot at the gig here, Lovie.
Well, I think, Rich, that if you're working for any company, any football team, you start interviewing from the moment you become an employee there. And, I was here for a year. Everybody in the organization got a chance to see how I did things, what I believe. Plus, I have a history to fill in a few blanks also. So as far, once the football position was open here, they start interviewing people. I was talking to, of course, the organization all along. My opinion, as a coordinator, associate coach, on how I think things should be done a little bit. I mean, I was asked that throughout the season and the process. And so you have to, kind of talk to them on exactly when they start seeing me this way. But I talked to them early in the process and, of course, talked to them late in the process. They went through what you go through trying to hire a head football coach. And after going through all that, they said I was the guy.
And so, much was made when your predecessor, David Culley, mentioned in an interview that Nick Caserio, the general manager, gets into the headset, the ear of the head coach during a game. And that sounds, unique, to say the least. But then we heard that was something that Caserio did with Belichick and for the New England Patriots, because he does have a terrific sense of being part of practice. He does things that other general managers never really have on their sheet. Is he going to do that with you as well? Is that your expectation, that you're going to hear him in your headset to help you with down and distance and timeouts and things of that nature during the fall?
Rich, people do it, a lot of different ways. I've been a head football coach for a long period of time. Yes. I haven't had the general manager involved on game day and don't plan on it. But so again, things were done differently at different places. We have a system that we're pretty comfortable with here, and Nick and I have talked about that. Nick's going to be available to help in any way that we think he should, and we feel pretty good about that plan. And
one of the finalists for the position that you eventually got is Brian Flores, and I'm sure, him as well as the lawsuit that has been filed against the league. You, after making a Super Bowl, after being fired, by the way, after a 10-6 season, after winning 81 games for 9 years, with the Chicago Bears, one of the more demanding jobs in the NFL. This, after getting a shot in Tampa, this was your shot. This is now your third shot after you having some time in the Big Ten. What is your sense on what is the holdup for many candidates of color to get a shot at an HC headset in the NFL? What has your experience been, and what do you think has been some of the holdup here in the NFL?
Well, my experience, Rich, tells me that, as you mentioned, I led my team to a 10-win season or a 16-game season, and the organization decided to go a different direction. I don't know why, and I don't know enough about Brian's situation, but sometimes things happen that don't seem fair, but you stay in the game, and that's what I did as much as anything. I stayed in the game throughout, even staying in the game, being a defensive coordinator this past year. And eventually, if you belong in that role, it feels like you'll get an opportunity to do that. As far as making it better, I think one of the things you look at, there was a time, Rich, when I was the only black guy on my staff, on quite a few staffs. Times have changed an awful lot. I think that's one place that we can look at. It's just not, the head coaching position, looking at staff, seeing how many people look like me on the staff. You have to be intentional about that. I know as you look at our staff, we're giving you're going to hear us talking a lot, but you can also look at what we're doing. I'm talking about a Houston Texans organization. And I just know the numbers need to come up, and hopefully that'll happen in the future.
And one last thing for you, Coach, or a couple more minutes left with Lovie Smith, head coach of the Houston Texans, here on the Rich Eisen Show. You've got a quarterback that you'd mentioned had a good first year, and honestly, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, you can make the case only Mac Jones had a more successful year on the field than Davis Mills. And this is now a situation where you can go in your second year with that kid if that's the way it goes. You made mention that the Bengals have shown a blueprint to go from top 5 pick in the draft to the Super Bowl with a second-year quarterback. I know Joe Burrow has a different situation than Davis Mills, but you're saying why not us based on what you just saw from the Bengals, Coach?
Well, to me, I kind of deal on, I make reference to what has happened, a blueprint. A lot of times if you believe something, you've never seen it. I mean, why should you believe that can happen? The Bengals won 4 games the year before with a young quarterback. And this year they were, maybe one play away from being Super Bowl champs. So that can happen. We're all dreaming about what can happen and having faith on that it can happen. And so why not us? I know that, it's a lot of coaching, coach speak that I'm giving you a little bit here, but we feel good about, last year we won 4 games. We had an opportunity easily to win 3 others, and we're going to be a better football team this year. So hopefully we can get things done.
Yeah, and I noticed in your press conference, you didn't come out and just single one of the teams in your division saying we're going to beat that team. You didn't come out and say, you didn't pull like what you did with the Bears. You didn't come out and say we're going to beat the Titans, the Colts.
You have a pretty good memory, Rich.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see, man. That's
I
pretty
remember
good.
that. You made quite the stir when you took the reins and you took that podium in Chicago for the first time to say you're going to beat the Packers. I think you had everyone at hello right there, Coach. I remember that one.
Rich, we did that for a while, and then they, a guy named, what's his name? Aaron Rodgers showed up there, But we have some teams we have to beat here, too. And, of course, the Titans were, when you're division champ, I mean, you're shooting for them. We split with them last year. And there's, of course, the Colts, the Jaguars. It's a tough division to be in, and just hopefully we can compete and have a chance to. It's all about getting into that tournament, and hopefully we'll have a chance to do that. All
right, last one for you, Coach. The Pro Football Hall of Fame class came out, and I know a lot of Canes, like Michael Irvin and Sapp, and that were very upset that the Canes got shut out with Andre Johnson, who, as we know, is one of the all-time greats, certainly for the organization you're now coaching for. But the one Cane that did not get in that really sticks in their craw the most is Devin Hester not getting in. You were his coach. Walk me through when you realized he was as good as he was at the role that he played for your Bears, Coach Smith.
First off, Rich, you mentioned Andre Johnson, and what a special guy. He's Hall of Fame worthy. Mm-hmm. Don't know Andre as well. Devin Hester, I can remember leaving an owners meeting and going down, and I heard about this guy, Devin Hester, down at the University of Miami. We went down. My son and I went down, and we worked him out. I worked him out as a cornerback. The guy was special, man. And when he got on campus, think about a guy from Florida, had never played in the cold, and he had as good a hands as you could possibly get. Didn't drop any balls, but from the moment he touched the ball, you knew he was going to do something special. And I got a chance. I don't know how many. I didn't miss many of his touchdowns. And coaches talk about offense, defense, and special teams, but you can win games with special teams. And how, Rich, the greatest returner of all time, how does the greatest returner of all time not get in the Hall of Fame first ballot? I'm having a hard time putting that all together.
Especially when, you've got one of the most special moments in the history of the Super Bowl on your resume, like he did. I will never forget watching him return that opening kickoff for a score when we all expected he would do it. And the fact that he got a chance and then did it is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in person. Were you surprised that Tony decided to kick to him to start the game?
No, Not really, Rich, because it's football. I mean, you have a lot of alpha males. You can't say that, hey, he's better than us. We're not. You can't bow down to any player. But, Rich, that year, you're right. The Super Bowl was special on that return that he had.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Arizona game on Monday night, I think that may be my favorite one of the last score, of course, for us to beat them that night. But there's so many special moments from it. And the way the game is going now, I just don't think that there'll ever be another like it.
Is that the night that the Bears were who Denny Green thought that you were? Was that night you're talking about, Lovie?
Yeah, I figured I was leading you right into that. Yeah.
Did you ever have a chat with Denny?
I remember that night, too.
Yeah,
I remember that night, too.
Did you ever have a chat with Denny Green about that rant after it was all said and done, Lovie?
In fun a little bit. Denny, I'm a part of, you could say, Denny's tree also.
Yeah.
And I can see why you would be frustrated, though, with what happened.
Of course. But did you ever say to him, like, who were we in your mind, Denny? Tell me who we were, Denny. Did you ever say that?
About it, yeah, Rich, the thing about it, we went to the Super Bowl that year, so that's who I thought we were, too. Football team, so.
You let him off the hook. I mean, my gosh. Thanks for the call, Coach. Appreciate it. Congrats on the gig in Houston. We'll do this again soon. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. That's Lovie Smith, everybody. Denny, yeah, hey, it's Lovie. Tell me, who do you think we were? Because, kind of thought we were good.
Oh.
And
who takes the third game of the preseason like it's...
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.